September 12, 1958, 11:47 p.m. Big Sam's hand trembled as he closed his fingers around the pistol grip. $50,000. That was the bounty the five families placed on Bumpy Johnson's life. And Sam, Bumpy's bodyguard for 5 years, the man Bumpy called a brother, had accepted the job. The plan was straightforward. Walk into Lennox Lounge, wait for Bumpy to be distracted, one shot to the back of the head, fade into the night. Sam stepped inside. Bumpy sat at his table. His back was turned, exposed. Sam pulled his weapon, lined up the shot, squeezed the trigger. Click. Nothing happened. The room froze. Bumpy slowly turned around, stared straight into Sam's eyes, and spoke 5 words that would echo through history. "I've been counting on you." What no one knew, what history books never mentioned, was that Bumpy Johnson had known about the hit for 3 weeks. And what he did during those 3 weeks didn't just save his life, it rewrote the rules of power in Harlem forever. To understand what unfolded that night at Lennox Lounge, you have to understand who Bumpy Johnson was in 1958. He wasn't just another criminal. He was Harlem's shield, the man who stood between his people and the predators who wanted to consume them. By the late 50s, Harlem was under constant pressure. The Italian mob, especially the five families, had been trying for years to seize control of the neighborhood's numbers racket. Numbers meant serious money, poor people betting nickels and dimes that added up to millions, and the Italians wanted all of it. But there was one obstacle. His name was Bumpy Johnson. Bumpy had built something the Italians couldn't grasp. He didn't rule through fear alone. He ruled through respect. When families couldn't pay rent, Bumpy covered it. When police harassed black-owned businesses, Bumpy made calls that made the harassment end. When Italian mobsters tried to push into local operations, Bumpy pushed back harder. The five families had tried everything. They sent enforcers, and Bumpy sent them back in ambulances. They tried negotiating, and Bumpy told them Harlem wasn't for sale. They tried bribing politicians, and Bumpy already had stronger connections. By 1958, the families were desperate, and desperate men make reckless choices. Frank Costello, the most powerful mob boss in New York, called a meeting. Representatives from all five families attended. The subject was simple: the Bumpy Johnson problem. "We've tried violence, we've tried money, we've tried politics," Costello said flatly. "None of it works. This man can't be touched." "So, what do you propose?" Carlo Gambino asked, lighting a cigar. Costello leaned forward. "We make him touchable. We find the one person he trusts completely, and we turn him." That's when Big Sam's name came up. Samuel Foster, known as Big Sam, had been with Bumpy since 1953, 6'4", 260 pounds of muscle and loyalty. He'd taken bullets for Bumpy twice. He was there when Bumpy's mother passed. He stood beside him through wars with Dutch Schultz's old crew, through police raids, through everything. If anyone could get close enough to kill Bumpy Johnson, it was Big Sam. The family sent in Tony the Collector. Tony specialized in persuasion, not violence. He looked for weaknesses, and every man had one. On August 20th, 1958, 3 weeks before the shooting, Big Sam was leaving his apartment on 132nd Street when a black Cadillac pulled up. The window slid down. Tony Marinette sat in the back seat, smiling like a salesman. "Sam, right, Big Sam. I've heard a lot about you." Sam's hand drifted toward the .45 at his waist. "Who's asking? A friend. Someone who wants to make you very rich." Tony nodded toward the empty seat. "5 minutes, hear me out. If you don't like it, you walk away. No problems." Sam should have walked away, but curiosity can be deadly. He got in. Tony went straight to business. "You're loyal to Bumpy, and that's respectable. But loyalty doesn't cover your daughter's hospital bills." Sam's jaw tightened. His youngest daughter, Keisha, had been battling tuberculosis for 6 months. The treatments cost more every week. The bills kept stacking up. Bumpy had helped with $2,000, but it wasn't enough. It was never enough. Tony opened a briefcase. Inside were neatly stacked hundreds, $50,000, enough to clear every medical bill, enough to move your family somewhere safe, somewhere clean, where your daughter can breathe. For what? Sam asked, though he already knew. One bullet, one moment. You walk into Lennox Lounge on September 12th. Bumpy will be there like always. You wait for the right moment. One shot to the back of the head, quick and clean, then you disappear. We'll have a car waiting. New names for your whole family. By morning, you'll be in Miami. By next week, someone else entirely. Sam stared at the money. $50,000. His daughter's life. His family's future. And if I say no? Sam asked softly. Tony's smile vanished. Then your daughter dies slowly in that charity ward. And you keep working for Bumpy, looking over your shoulder every day, knowing your end is coming. That's how this life ends, Sam. The only choice is whether you die poor or rich. Sam stepped out of the car without a word, but the briefcase stayed with him. That night he couldn't sleep. He saw his daughter's face, her strained breathing, her forced smile. He saw the briefcase, the money that could save her. 3 days later, Sam made his choice. He called Tony. I'm in. Half now, half later. Done, Tony said. Welcome aboard. What Sam didn't know, what Tony never suspected, was that before Sam ever got into that Cadillac, Bumpy Johnson already knew. Bumpy didn't become king by trusting people. He became king by understanding them. Every man has a price. Every man has a weakness. Bumpy had eyes everywhere. Bartenders, shoeshine boys, cab drivers, janitors, people no one noticed. And one of them, a parking attendant named Jerome, saw Tony Marinet's Cadillac outside Sam's building. He saw Sam get in. He wrote down the plate. 2 hours later, Jerome stood in Bumpy's office above Small's Paradise. Tony Marinet's car, Jerome said, sliding the paper across the desk. Bumpy studied it, then paid Jerome $500. You saw nothing. You were never there. Bumpy sat alone for hours, thinking. Sam had been loyal for 5 years, but desperate men make desperate choices. Bumpy could have had Sam killed immediately. Most would have. But Bumpy chose another path. He watched Sam closely. The shaking hands, the worry, the struggle. And Bumpy decided to teach him instead. He called a gunsmith named Victor and ordered a gun that looked perfect, but could never fire. Days later, the dummy weapon was ready. Then Bumpy sent Sam on an errand. While Sam was gone, Bumpy and Illinois Gordon swapped the guns in Sam's apartment. Sam never noticed. Bumpy waited. He needed Sam to pull the trigger. He needed the truth exposed publicly. On September 12, 1958, Lennox Lounge was packed. 300 people filled the room. Jazz played. Deals were whispered. Bumpy sat at his usual table. Big Sam arrived, steadying his nerves with a drink. At 11:47, Sam moved. He stepped behind Bumpy, drew the gun, and fired. Click. Silence swallowed the room. Bumpy calmly sipped his cognac and turned around. I've been counting on you. Sam understood instantly. Bumpy knew everything. The money, the plan, the betrayal. Sam collapsed, apologizing through tears. Bumpy stopped him. I know about your daughter. I've known for months. He dropped an envelope on the table. Her bills were paid that morning. There was extra money for the family, too. I needed to know what you'd choose. Now I do. You're leaving Harlem tonight. If I ever see you again, there won't be mercy. And when the Italians ask, you tell them the truth. Sam left that night and never came back. Afterward, Bumpy addressed the room. Harlem isn't for sale, and anyone who thinks it is will learn. Glasses were raised, music resumed, but everything had changed. The 5 families backed off. Harlem belonged to Bumpy Johnson. He lived another decade and died of a heart attack, not a bullet. And that night proved one thing. The most dangerous weapon isn't a gun. It's knowing what's coming before your enemy does.